What is going on, guys? As you can see, I installed something special onto my Jeep. It's called the Easy Flip Top, and this video is going to be all about how you can get one of these on your Jeep as well. It is the best thing I've added to my Jeep so far. So let's jump to the beginning of the video and let's see how you can get this on yours. And of course, there is the big gigantic issue of where to store the Freedom Tops while you're driving around. If you have anybody in the back seat, you can't really put them back here. And if you have anything in the back area, you can't really put it back there. So where do we put them? Well, right on top. First things first, my Jeep is currently clean. However, I had to scrub it so much because it's kind of been sitting a little bit throughout the winter time. So I scrubbed it pretty much the entire Jeep. There is a big emphasis to make sure that the top of the Jeep is going to be clean. We're going to be applying some adhesive up there, so we want to make sure it is perfectly clean before we start working on it. Alright, let's talk about what's inside of here. Got the list and instructions of what's going on. Got a couple brackets to hold the top down. Got the main hard top brackets. Whatever that is. Some fasteners, some tape primer. Interesting. And then of course the other hard top bracket. Now that we're up on top up here, it is time to figure out where we want to put all of our hinges at. So I'm going to line this up. Backside here we have one that has tape on one side and not the other. Make sure you put this on the correct side. And it should sit something similar like this ish. Do that for both sides here. And then I'm going to mark off with some tape approximately where we need to clean it to. I'm going to do the same thing all the way around. That way I know exactly where and far, or where exactly and how far I have to clean it to. So when I'm doing all this, it'll just kind of, yeah, it'll work. With it marked off, it is time to just pull these out of the way and start scrubbing them. We're going to be using some acetone. You can use some mineral spirits or degreaser or whatever. I just happen to have this, so I'm going to use this. And we're going to be scrubbing this a lot. On here, as you can see, it is pretty messy. Even after cleaning it, scrubbing it with the soap, it's still messy on here, so we really want to get rid of absolutely everything on top. We're going to scrub it over and over again, probably 3 or 4 times, just to make sure it's very clean. This side is now clean. I just got to do all the rest of the areas, so yep, keep on scrubbing. With all of this now clean, it's very important not to put your hand back on here and get all those oils back on it. So we're going to take this guy, and it's got a little notch here, and this little arrow here, and this is going to be basically a template. So I'm going to put this down, just about here, and everything we do is going to line everything up with the brackets now. Then we're going to take this guy, we're going to lay this down right on top, and we're going to use that guide in the middle as a template to line everything up. And we got notches on this outside here that we're going to line up in addition. So it should line up nice and square. And there we go. There's one side. And let's do the other side. So the groove should line up right exactly on that edge there, not the crack, but the edge of the hard top, or sorry, Freedom Top on both sides. Now we're going to take this extra tape here that we used to kind of block it, and we're going to just tape it down, just so it holds in place so I don't nudge it and all that, because, you know, I'm probably going to do that. Doesn't need a lot, just enough to hold it in place. So starting off the one side or the other, I'm going to start on the side closest to me. I'm going to move this tape to the top side here. Kind of holds it down a little bit better. And we're going to apply a bonding agent to help the 3M tape kind of adhere to it. I'm going to flip this guy up. I do notice as I'm sitting right here, it bows down a little bit, so I'm going to try to keep my weight off of the top up here. So we're going to take this stuff here, and we're just going to wipe all this down a little bit again. And with that primer adhesive stuff, all I'm going to do is take off this 3M backing and stick it down. Alright, so now that this is nice and stuck, make sure it is fully seated. It looks like it really is. So now I'm going to do the other side real quick and rinse and repeat. With this backside now tightened down, just go ahead and get rid of all this tape. We're going to do the same thing on the front. Pull it up, use that little primer adhesion promoter stuff, and then lay them back down as well. With it fully secured, it's recommended that you walk on it. Use your weight, hold it down. I'm going to double check and make sure this works. Like a glove. Awesome. Don't really need this anymore. Next, we're going to add on little bumpers here. What it's going to do is protect the hardtop from sliding into the freedom panels, or freedom panels into the hardtop. I am going to clean them all up about 25 inches from the hinge here. With everything now taped down with that 3M tape, we need to flip these back and see kind of where the latch down point is. We've got to actually install the latch so it stays latched against the back part of the top. So let's flip this back and see where it should sit. Starting with the driver's side. For this next part, we need to pull out these hinges here, and what they're going to do is basically sit something like this. Oop, that's the wrong one. Sit something like this. So when this latches down, it holds it in place. So now I need to clean off the same right here. Except this time I'm going to make it exactly perfect. It's going to match it up to the edge of this little like bump up right here. This does have a little bit of play in the hinges, so I can adjust it later if it's slightly off, but might as well get it right the first time. Let that go. This should flop back. Don't smack your hand. I'm going to work on it one side at a time. And just like the rest, I'm going to use this adhesion promoter stuff and really get this nice and sticky. And I'm just going to sit it down right up against here, nice and perfect. And then do the same thing on the other side. The only difference is both these have to be up, so yeah, don't have this other one latched when you're trying to lift this up. Don't need that anymore. And now, in theory, both of these should lock down in place. So this next part is going to be optional for most. If you're not going to be taking it off-road or flexing a lot, you don't really need to fasten it down. However, for people like me, where I go rock crawling, I'm definitely going to throw some of these fasteners in there. Cool thing is they do provide a drill bit to drill through the top. The only thing you need to get is some sort of RTV sealant, which I have. So let's jump up on top, let's drill out the holes and fasten this down permanently. This is something to note. This is a point of no return. You don't want to drill through this if you want to take this off later. Since I'm going to be using this permanently, I have no problems drilling through the top. On the brackets themselves, there are little pre-drilled holes as kind of a guide in which you're going to put your fasteners in. We're going to take the drill bit that is already provided and we're going to drill through these holes to make a larger hole through not only the bracket but also the top itself. I do highly suggest that you take a vacuum and you vacuum up as you're drilling through the metal on top and then the actual top itself. For the bolts themselves, they do have this rubberized washer on here, so it does make it a little bit more watertight. I'm going to add a little extra RTV just for that little bit extra security, make sure it's really, really watertight. There are going to be two different size fasteners. The long ones are going to go through the Freedom top, and the shorter ones are going to go through the hard top in the back. And the next part is pretty straightforward. Just got to put some washers and some nuts on the bottom of those bolts we drilled through using the appropriate tools they sent with us. This one goes on the nut, this one goes on the top of the bolt. Pretty straightforward, pretty easy. All right, and how great is this? Hard top's on. Gotta flip the other side and it's done. No more storing it in the back. Don't have to worry about if it's people back there or tools back there hitting rocks, bouncing around. Don't have to worry about any of that. That is so awesome. So I'm gonna love this. That can't be easier. 30 seconds to have this tops off, tops on. That's pretty awesome. All right, guys. I think that is going to be it for the video. So if you guys like the video, please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. I'm going to see you guys all next time.